でしたら必要ありません。
何？
そこにはウィルがいます。
Wistoria, wand, and sword. I think we might have just found the sleeper hit of the season. Like, here's the thing. This was cool. And I don't know, you know, a lot of times I think when you're watching, you know, any kind of show, anime, game, whatever, your enjoyment is always going to be based on what mood you're in. I just got home from Costco. You know, it's been a good day so far. I was playing some Trails Through Daybreak today. I've had a really good day. So I watched this, you know, I'm watching this later in the evening. And it could be because of that. But outside of that, like, this was just cool. From the fights to the plot to the story. Now, there are some little nitpicks that I have here and there. I mean, there always will be for the most part. There are those that are just like these, like, you know, masterpiece incarnates that there really isn't. But, you know, a lot of times there, you know, there's these little nitpicks, which I do have, and I'll talk about them. But overall, I think by and large, like, this was a cool show. So we have Will, right? His name's Will, I believe, right? I think that's the whole thing behind it. We have Will Sefort, and essentially, you know, when he was a kid, he vowed to become a magia Wander. So essentially, if you watch any show, maybe like Marshall, very similar kind of concept to that. There's like the peak of the magic realm. There's like a certain position that, you know, all kids go to, you know, attain, and they're called magia Wander. Apparently, there's they haven't really explained it yet, but there could just be one, which is his childhood friend at the moment, but there could also be 6. I think when they were doing the history lesson, which I loved, I think they were saying that there were 6 of these like top tier, you know, magicians who basically they saved the world. And now all magicians pretty much strive to become one of those, or to attain that level of magic, you know, stuff. So essentially that, you know, when he was a kid, he had a friend, and he vowed to become a magia Wander alongside her. As they progressed through their childhood, he discovered, I'm sure pretty quickly, he had no magic. And she, on the opposite, you know, progressed to become magia Wander, or whatever it's called. And their two paths kind of went this way. And that path will lead me into my first nitpick, which is like, it seems that they're close, like, basically, you know, future husband-wife close. And my first kind of point of contention is like, yo, did homegirl really just leave her boy? Did she just really leave him on the bottom? Like, she just like, yo, come get me kind of thing, you know, come attain this level. Like, if she just left him there with like no help, no nothing, like, I get the, you know, he needs to be the shining, you know, knight in shining armor type deal. But if she for real left him, like, yo, that's kind of wild to leave your mans, you know, down there, especially as he's just slaving away to try and get to her level. But, you know, he makes that vow, their paths, you know, diverge, and he has a very hard time in school. At some point, he discovers that he has these powers, and the teacher, as he's fighting this demon, you know, on a floor that it shouldn't have been in, and saving a asshole kid, which I would have let die. I'm not even gonna lie. I would have let him die and then gone and fight the monster. Be like, oh, I couldn't get there in time. I would be that guy. But I'm gonna let that play by. But he goes and, you know, he fights this thing, and as he's doing it, the teacher is narrating to another teacher of like, basically Will is the first warrior in the age of magic. He has superhuman strength. He has the speed of this. He has the body of this, and he has the mental acuity to really memorize and learn things, unlike anybody else. And the teacher, the other dick teacher, because he's a big piece of doo-doo, he, you know, is like, oh, somebody's threatening the world of magic through these means or whatever. And he storms off, and Will ends up saving the kid who was a big bully, which is crazy to me that he's a freaking saint at this point. And then the episode ends with him looking up at the sky to his future wife, who's just like, yeah, that's right. Be down there, peasant, you know. But the whole thing was just cool. I like Will as a character. I like that there's a girl that likes him that was flirting with him or whatever. And he was like, he's like, what did I do today to get such a cute girl to come to my savior? And he was very, he was very upfront with his compliments. As she questioned him, he didn't back down. He was like, no, I was told, from a young age to, treat girls as so, make sure to compliment them. And he's like, hey, I have eyes and I'm looking at you and you're extremely cute. And she's like, basically, she couldn't take it anymore. So he does pretty good with women, and it seems, and I like his character. I like his relationship with the teacher. Not the asshole teacher, but the teacher who is actually seems to actually be a teacher and is helping a student. I like his relationship with them. I like how he's getting scolded. This anime is just cool. And then the fight scene, just Sakuga, was off the charts. It was so good. Watching Will just fight was so effing sick. Like, it really reminded me of Danmachi for sure. And, actually, now that I think about that, hold on. Maybe it's not. I thought there was a show... there was a show this season where I remember somebody in my comments, maybe it wasn't this one. This one's produced by Bandai Namco and Actis. I don't even know who Actis is. Who does Actis do? They do shows like Girls and Panzer. Oh, that's a really old one. Maybe it wasn't this show, but I thought there was a show that was made by the same studio as Danmachi. But I got big Danmachi, dungeon vibes with this one. But the way the fight was done was so cool. And I really enjoyed watching that fight. I was like, that was sick. The way he just he manhandled that demon, Minotaur thing. I was like, that's effing cool. And then he used his own sword on him to chop him in half. Whew. But anyways, let me go over a couple of other of my nitpicks. So the first one was what was that first one? What was I talking about then? The girl who left him behind. So the girl who left him behind, the one who's basically just up in the tower being, prissy bitch up there. She left him behind. That's my first nitpick, which, hey, is what it is. It just drives the story forward. Second one is the teachers. I was baffled. So he's obviously in school. It's obviously known that he doesn't have magical ability at all, or, not up to snuff. So it's like, as a school, principal and teachers, they're obviously allowing him to be there, whether it's under special circumstance, whether it's because he could take on the dungeons alone, whatever the actual case is, they're allowing him to be at school. So when the teacher was bullying him, because that's literally what it is, he was literally bullying this kid. It was like, yo, who's this dickhole? Because it's like, you're a teacher. Like, since you're a teacher, you can be a harsh teacher, but doesn't give you a hall pass to go and be some asshole loser. Like, I was like, what the f? Like, so that was my second thing, was like, obviously he's allowed to be at the school, whether some teachers may not agree with that or not. Like, treating a student like that, I was like, that is wild. And it might not even be a nitpick. It's just one of those things to where the story made me feel that emotion. And then I guess the other last nitpick would be is, why is his abilities so unknown? It's like this, the teacher explained to the other teacher, like, hey, here's Will, whatever. You would assume that those abilities would also be known to the broader school, and they would do better at nurturing him, based on his specific thing. He's like an anomaly. He's like the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. So with that in mind, you would think the school would be nurturing that and not putting him not like, oh, Will, the kid who can't wield magic, make a fireball, so is that, those are very small nitpicks though, I think. But honestly, the show was really good. It took me aback and it took me by surprise. And I'm really thinking this is one of those dark horses of the season so far. So I loved it. I can't wait to see more. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And of course, I'll see you guys next week. All right. Peace.